Enable. Plan India, a nationally registered not-for-profit organization striving to advance children's rights and equality for girls, organized the third Plan for Every Child conference in association with Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment recently at the national capital. The aim of the conference was to bring forth rich and varied perspectives on justice for children and strengthening the system to safeguard child rights. The conference saw participation from jurists, officers from different departments dealing with children's issues, experts, and practitioners of child rights from national and international spheres. The conference began with the welcome address by Executive Director of Plan India, Bhagyashree Dengle, and Chair Governing Board Plan India, Rati Vinay Jha.
Plan for Every Child National Conference, I would like to briefly share with you the journey that led and inspired us to create this unique platform. When Plan India strategically began focused interventions with children in extremely difficult circumstances, and child protection became and continues to remain the utmost priority for us as an organization. Over the past 14 years, we have worked extensively along with our partner organizations to ensure that children in difficult circumstances are protected, healthy, happy, and in school. This entire conference design has been guided and supported by a number of experts, academicians, children and youth, legal practitioners, government officials, and judiciary. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I welcome you again and look forward to enriching discussions and engagements from each one of you. I feel confident that together we will be able to make a difference in the lives of the children across the country and the world. Thank you once again for powering this movement. Thank you.
The Plan for Every Child initiative, in solidarity with national and international efforts, focuses on reaching out to every child in difficult circumstances towards their well-being, well-becoming, and the right to a dignified life. Our theme for the conference is Justice for Children, which calls for preventive and responsive approaches, and therefore it's vital to understand the issues that affect our very young children who are below the age of 12 years. As your presence in this forum is an honor to us. We at Plan India thank you all for accepting our invitation, being here on this journey, perhaps an ambitious campaign that we are entering on, but imperative to the future of our children and imperative for the future of India. Thank you.
Govind Nilhani, Chairman Emeritus of Governing Board Plan India, unveiled a short film on child protection. A young student and president, Plan India Child Protection Committee, Telangana, shared her inspiring story.
My name is Indu. I came from Nalgonda district, Telangana state. I am studying 10th class. I came poor family. My father died 7 years back. I stopped my education and I started going to work with my mother. And Plan Mahita 4 years back came into my village and changed to all children's and families. And they put me back to school. And Plan Mahita formed some committees. First one, Children Committee and CPC, Child Protection Committee, Gram Panchayati, and principals are Anganwadi teachers and Sarpanchis, all teachers and involves that. Now I am President of the Children Committee, and we personally take off Child Protection Committee and Children Committee. We both personally take off 50 children in 40 members only girls. Only 40 members only girls. Wow. Child Committee also personally take off on 6 marriages, child marriages, and somebody go to secretly marriage and somebody back to school. And I'm happy now. I'm proud of me, and I thank you, Plan India, and in Mahita also.
Rakesh Srivastava, Secretary, Ministry of Women and Child Development, emphasized upon the government's commitment towards creating a global ecosystem and child-friendly policies and their safety and security.
Planning for children is planning for today and tomorrow. Every child has a right to a dignified life, which is free from exploitation. Safety and security of all children are integral to their well-being. India has a very strong legislative framework for the protection of the rights of children, as informed by our Constitution, which grants the highest priority to children and their well-being. Our ministry works very close with the NGOs. I would like to congratulate, in the end, the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment and also Plan India for organizing this 3-day workshop. I am confident that this will bring into focus the rights of the child, and Plan India has done a commendable job. I found from the film that they have formulated 38,000 children forum, and each forum has about 10 children in which they are told about the importance of schooling and importance of child rights. I once again congratulate them for their efforts and wish you success in all your endeavors. Thank you.
No NGO can work in a vacuum in this country. In fact, in any country. It's ultimately the government that really has to direct policy and implement policy. So for us, this partnership has been very useful. To make it absolutely constructive and successful, we need to continue the dialogue. It can never stop.
Associate Professor of Law at Hong Kong University, Pooja Kapai, spoke on Pathways for Gender Justice, a critical intersectional framework.
My theme this morning, which I envision and hope will help set the scene for some of the discussions we're going to have over the next few days, is Pathways for Gender Justice, a critical intersectional framework. This is a conceptual framework which I'm sure that many of you are no doubt aware of and aspire towards incorporating into your work to achieve equality, dignity, and justice for all. It is an analytical framework which carries the potential for effecting transformative change. However, somehow, intersectionality has remained a largely theoretical construct, which has yet to be operationalized and harnessed to unleash this transformative change. I'd like to urge you all to engage in intersectional analysis and work together with agencies and partners who have the expertise and resources that we lack, so that we can move the needle forward towards achieving gender-responsive justice and protecting the rights of children more effectively. Thank you.
CNN News 18 journalist and political editor Maria Shakil presented an interesting perspective on walking the talk, girls and their rights in the current paradigm.
Has media really covered the children who are victims of the kind of, that we see or we hear about on a regular basis? We do not. We are actually guilty of that. To be fair, until unless there are children in the conflict zone, like say Jammu and Kashmir or in other parts of India, we really do not give that much emphasis on their struggles or what they go through on a daily basis. But recently, there are several events that have happened that have brought particularly the role of children and the role of media, making media understand what their role should be towards the struggle of children in particular. The recent incident that happened of girls not being safe in their own school compound, in which the entire community chose to strike them, chose to beat them up mercilessly, 30 girls landing in a hospital only because they chose to say that this is my space. Let me feel safe in my own space. If we cannot give safe spaces to children and girls and minors, I think we are going horribly wrong as a country. It's all right to talk about women empowerment. It's all right to talk about women's reservation bill. But I think the core issue is about safety and security and making girls feel that caste fault lines may be on one side. Yes, the caste fault lines, the more we say that India is moving away from caste, the more I realize that they are inherent, they are very much there, and they are here to stay. Thank you so much.
Dr. Shireen Gigi Boy, Member Governing Board, Plan India, presented a keynote on prevention of gender-based violence, the need for research and evidence building.
India, as we know, and previous speakers have said, have made a number of commitments to eliminating violence against the young. We have a list of programs and policies that encompass the young, or as in the case of the RK, Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram, Beti Bachao, they are focused on the young. We need more attention to measurement, better crime reporting, more periodic surveys. We're not going to be able to track the SDGs unless we have much better crime reporting or data points from which we can see the change in violence. We need much more periodic surveys, and we need evaluations of programs that tell us what works and provide the evidence-based leads for future investments in the young. So let me leave you with what the Lancet Commission says about investing in the young. Failure to do so erodes future quality and length of life and escalates suffering, inequality, and social instability. Let us work towards building the data and the evidence to ensure this doesn't happen. Thank you.
The 3-day-long conference also had some parallel sessions where the role of media and legislature in putting the last girl first were discussed. Known for his keen interest in juvenile justice, Supreme Court Judge Madan B. Lokur presented an insightful keynote address.
I believe that there is still room for optimism. We've been hearing some pretty sad stories over the last couple of months, and more recently over the last couple of days. But I believe that there is room for optimism, and efforts should be made by all of us, organizations, NGOs like Plan India and several other NGOs who are working together so that we can improve the condition of the children in the country. Over the last couple of years, there has been a very positive development, that there has been this awareness that children also have rights. And in this context, I think the recognition of the rights of children is also important. I'm glad that focused efforts, not just simple efforts, but focused efforts are being made by various organizations, including, of course, by Plan India. And we must, I think, continue with these efforts, so that we are able to give it some concrete shape. The time, I believe, for, discussing remedies and so on, or discussing plans, I think should come to an end at some point of time, and action is what is required to be taken. So that's all that I have to say, and all the best, and take care.
As Plan India, we don't look at this intervention as a conference in itself, but it's a complete program or platform to bring multiple actors to ensure right to protection and other rights of children.
The third edition of Plan for Every Child, Girls Get Equal National Conference was organized by Plan India in partnership with the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. The conference saw participation of experts from diverse backgrounds who deliberated on systems that can strengthen child protection, as it is a critical factor in any country's governance. Girls Get Equal. The theme for this year's conference was Plan International's campaign focusing on advocating the power of girls and their right to be equally seen, heard and valued. A special plenary session titled Make Our World Safe, Who's Accountable? Was held where representatives from government, NGOs and civil society participated and discussed upon the safety of children. The conference concluded with the special addresses and a moderated discussion on the topic Integrated Approaches to Gender Justice, where global speakers deliberated upon issues related to gender justice and gender equality in India.
Over the past several days, we heard many a times that we live in unequal, unfair societies, and that broader social justice also implies tackling and challenging all gender stereotypes and patriarchy that have been around way too long. In that sense, and to that aim, this session will focus on how the executive, legislature, and judiciary and other institutions that go beyond could promote gender justice in an integrated and comprehensive manner to ultimately enable girls to achieve justice.
I think the access to justice for women has gained already some energy, but we should do more for the access to justice for girls and effective remedies for the girls. And I see a lot of such activisms and progressive trend in the Indian judiciary. So I have a lot of expectation. And also, even if the judges are very much sensitized on just gender issues, the judges can act only on the cases which are broad. And in this sense, the lawyers have very important laws, and the civil society and all the professionals working with and working for the children to know about the importance of the effective remedies and access to justice for the girls, to empower the victims and tell them how they can seek the remedies.
We have to create awareness. We have to create knowledge. The two campaigns launched by the UN or in the margin of the UN, which I like a lot. One is He for She. UN initiated global movement. It's about men who have committed to work to promote the cause of women and the cause of girls. Everybody, every child, every girl needs to be encouraged from the very beginning. And if we cannot do that from the beginning, then we have to address it later on. And this is something we have been trying to do.
There is a strong role of institutions beyond access to remedy and beyond legislative reforms. There is kind of what we really need to think about. How do you kind of use the deep structures, or how do you address deep structures of these large institutions or even small institutions in the social justice sector to drive the gender justice agenda?
Justice, gender justice, is not new to our country. Almost 100 years ago, Rabindranath Tagore, he wrote about gender justice. So it's a torch that we are basically carrying, and still it's going on.
We can't stop addressing the issue of parenting. My two sons see what I do and the way I treat my daughter and the way I treat their mother. We must be able to train our children in school in how they see the gender differences, in how we boys, men, must be able to treat girls, and it must start at an early childhood development stage.
This is a platform that has been created by Niti Aayog, where all like-minded organizations can work. Plan India has decided to come and work with us. We welcome them. We have created a platform where we want that if you really want to do something for India, please come and join us.
At the outset, I would like to thank the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment for collaborating with us. and not just for sharing the logo, but really taking this partnership to a different level. This is not just a series of seminars or conferences or presentations, but is a grassroots initiatives that we have taken forward in reaching out to the most marginalized children. And I wish and I hope that with these efforts, we can take forward this journey over the next few years. Thank you very much.
I think strengthening the effective remedies will help to realize the equality for all girls